Should websites use images in PNG or WebP format? And there's a little context. Yesterday, I had a, quote, moment of tension in the meeting with one of my clients' web devs. And I was walking the team through their technical website audit that I did for their site. And I recommended converting images to WebP to help with the loading times and everything overall. The web dev mentioned that the WebP images are lower quality and that's going to hurt the overall UX. So they would like to get your opinion on this matter.
Yeah, they're wrong, the developer. WebPs are higher quality and lower file size. Now, that being said, if they are converting a already optimized PNG into WebP, that could be a problem because now you're kind of converting an already reduced file to another file size. But if you take the original, make a WebP version, or you're using a plugin that can do this as well with the original version, you're generally going to be a lot better off with the WebP, or what's the other one? The new one, is it AVIF, something like that? Here, let me share my screen real quick here. Okay, so this is a cool little tool that I like a lot called Website Image Analysis. It's from Cloudinary, which helps with storage. But you can see, like, here's a JPEG file, 374 by 210, and here's an AVIF file, same size, but this is 38K, this is 16K, right? If you go ahead, and I'm going to use the guys that did a little audit on the other day, which was smallelectric.com. Now, this will only analyze the page you feed it, right? So since I'm feeding the .com, it's only going to show me the home page, right? But what I like about this tool is it will evaluate. There's a couple things, actually. First, once it's done, it's going to give you like an overall score and say what size your images are taking up on that particular page, right? Now, this particular page has a lot of images on it. And as the guy mentioned, their speed is definitely an issue. User interface is an issue. So you can see here that there's currently 2 megabytes of images, but if they did smarter compression of these images, it can get it down to 574. So they'd be saving 1.5 megabytes of file size. What I like about it, though, is you can see here, it's saying like this particular image on the website, the actual size of the image is 1836 by 799, but it's being shown in an area that's 1528 by 665. So the image is a little too big for the size it's being displayed in. And then on the side of that, it also shows you the various versions and which version would be the best one to use. Now, if you look here, you see PNG is the biggest version. That's one they've got in there. So it's actually the highest kilobyte size. If you went to AVIF, which is another newer format, it's 93.4. If you went to WebP, it's 146. What I like about this, though, is if you go to see details, all right, you can actually kind of get, actually download this, right? So here is the version. You can download the proper sized, reduced size image to your file, right? So it'll give you the WebP. And then here you can see the same thing with a small file size, reduced in size or compressed for JPEG, AVIF, the XR and the PNG. You go to PNG, and it was 492 kilobytes, and the file size looks pretty good. But again,
in case anybody missed it, which website are you using right now?
It's up here. It's webspeedtest.cloudinary.com. So it's a subdomain on Cloudinary, just dedicated to the speed test. It's sort of their tool. And so what also to be aware of as well with WebP is like WebP is only really going to work on a couple of platforms, whereas like AVIF works on a couple of different ones. Like you get Firefox here as well, whereas WebP is only going to be, I think it says Edge and Chrome. So you really want a tool that can give or feed the best format based on the browser. But nowadays, these AVIFs and the WebPs they tend to be much better resolution-wise, not lesser resolution than PNGs, and they tend to be a lot smaller file size. So you get a better quality image at a smaller size. Why wouldn't you use it? They need to kind of have the dev take a closer look at what's going on. But Definitely a much better way to go is to go with the newer style. That's why they introduced these new styles. That's why we went away from JPEGs and GIFs and PNGs, because they were too big, they were over optimized, and we wanted to get a nice size, good looking image, but at the same time have less image size, file size, and less loss or that pixelation that you sometimes see on sites that have been, what we sometimes call over optimized, right? There's too much taken out of them. So I do like this for a number of reasons. Like I said, it gives you all the different sizes. Sometimes you can see images that may be much too big, that need to be maybe reduced in size or whatnot. And you can also see that for each of these, they're using PNGs for most part here. And notice that they're almost all of them are the largest file size type that are out there. So I would avoid PNGs. And I forget, we do have in our All-Stars area, there is a section for image optimization. There's a whole like hour in image optimization in the All-Stars. And that specifically talks about this. It shows this tool a little bit as well. It talks about the different formats and when to use it, which format to use for which things. And I forget, like, what's what. Like, I think like JPEGs were more for like graphics, and PNGs were more for images or pictures. Or I forget exactly off the top of my head what they are, but there's a whole course on image optimization in the All-Star membership. I would go ahead and take a look at that if you really want to get a better handle on these types of tools.
And that web dev probably needs to understand that if the images aren't small, nobody's going to come to the site to see what the beautiful images are that he designed in the first place.
That's right, because it's going to load too slow. It's going to cause Google to not like you. You're not going to get ranked as well because if your core web vitals are getting hammered because your site is slow or because your images take too long to load, or because people are bouncing away before actually going to your website because it's taking too long to load, that's going to be a problem. It's a user experience issue. So yeah, they just need to get a better handle on how to optimize images properly.